Yes.
Okay, great. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the review of the agenda. Anything you'd like to add or modify or eliminate? It'd be good to go with as is.
Hi, Richard.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Richard. Great.
Good to
Glad
see all
could
of
make it.
you.
Excellent. Yeah, we're just getting started. Looking at the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Peter, Jim? All in favor?
Yes.
Do you need to, are you okay, Catherine, if we raise our hand, or would you prefer to call the vote?
Uh-oh.
Always a challenge when the person running the meeting, so to speak, has a problem with the connection. Are you okay at your end, Catherine?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think I might be here twice, but I'll call the vote.
Okay.
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Richard Kasul,
Yes.
Councillor Jaguar.
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you for that. And welcome again to everybody. It's nice, we're so close to getting a meeting in person, I think, so I appreciate we're still online, but it's good that we connect, I think. It was okay to skip one meeting, but at some point, because everything had slowed down, but at some point, I think it's good to touch base and see how we're doing and maintain some momentum, because lots of good stuff has happened. So let's move on then with the adoption of minutes from April 26th. Any errors or omissions? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes.
Yeah.
Jamie, Richard,
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Richard Kasul,
Yes.
Councillor Jaguar.
yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest for this meeting? Seeing none, we'll move on to the donation update from Jennifer. How are we doing?
We seem to be doing very well. Good morning, everyone. Catherine's going to put that up onto the screen for us. So this was the May 14th one that we missed that meeting. So I had done a report for you at that time. The total donations towards the campaign to that date was $53,555. A few expenses came in, and we had just $2,000 outstanding to come in to finance at that time. So since then, I've done another report for today's meeting for June 18th. So Catherine, if you can put that one up. This one, a few more funds have come in, so we're up to 65,828. There was a few expenses for advertising and promotion and some credit card fees that were additional to the costs on this one, but most of that is one larger donation, I think, that came in, and a few smaller ones. So there's still some things outstanding that we haven't deposited yet, which we will get in shortly. And yeah, it seems to be going very well. So congratulations and keep up the good work, everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer. I did have a question. I can follow up with you also after the meeting. There's one donation I tried to enter last week, and it was for $5,000. And it's not showing up on the treasurer side. So I was wondering if it actually went through, and I didn't want to enter it again.
Okay, I can have a look into that and see, and then get back to you after the meeting for sure.
Okay, so I guess what I'm saying, there's a possibility that this 65 may not include the latest $5,000 donation.
Okay.
So that's even better news, and that
Yeah,
came
it
through
is.
through Richard. Congratulations, Richard, on that.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, any questions for Jennifer? Yeah, and once again, the expenses over time, like we're still at a higher percentage, but over time that will decrease because many of the expenses were upfront, which is normal at the beginning of the campaign, but we'll have fewer on an average
Yes,
basis.
absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, congratulations to all of us. I mean, despite it's so counterintuitive to try to do fundraising in a pandemic where everybody's at home, but I think everybody's rallying and focusing on phone calls and connections and good conversations. So yeah, so we're making progress against all odds. So really, congratulations to everybody. And I think there are quite a few more things in the works. We'll probably talk about that during our outreach discussion. Okay, can I have a motion to receive the report from Jennifer? Jim? And seconder to receive the financial report. Richard, thank you.
Jamie Chapman. Pete Barber.
Yes.
Jim Jenkins.
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin. Oh, I think we lost Ruth Ann. Richard Kasul.
Yes.
Councillor Giguere.
Yes.
5-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you. I think Ruth Ann is reconnecting. I think Fiona was also hoping to attend, right? So maybe she will join us.
Thanks, Rita.
Yeah, and she had some good success as well. I think everybody been working hard, and we can see it with the results. Let's move on then to media and advertising updates. So thank you for your feedback on the summer campaign. So it's already started, and you will see on the website we've updated the list of items. We kept a few items from the spring campaign that were not covered yet, but definitely the focus is on all of the outdoors entertainment, from barbecues to tables. And so if that helps with your thinking of who you might be approaching for those items, like with whom those items would resonate, it has officially started. So for the next 2 months, the ads will continue, and we'll see how we make progress there. And just so you know what we did for the spring campaign in terms of, we wanted to show progress on the website. So even though some donations during the spring were not assigned to items, we assigned them to spring items to show that this is everything that we had on the list based on the date that you donated. Now we can say all of these items are taken care of. So it does give us flexibility. However, since some of the donations are not assigned, let's say somebody comes back. So let's say we assigned the bird seeds, and somebody comes back later on and says, I really want to donate bird seeds, like actually physically, the bird seed. We can always move that cash donation and assign it to something else. So I guess I'm saying that just in case you're looking at the website and you see something that says sold, there might be some flexibility. So that's not a showstopper if you have a donor who's interested in an actual like physical donation. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we'll continue. We have always so Elmer Express sends us the JPEG image from that ad. So we always have the possibility of putting it on social media. You can put it on your own social media. So we'll make sure we remember to send it to all committee members. But by all means, let's promote it as much as possible. Any questions on that theme campaign that we have going on for the summer? Everybody's good?
Dominic,
Yes.
do you by any chance have any updates on any donors that would like to give services?
Tell me more about, because services are possible depending on, I suppose, what it is. Did you have a specific request or question?
No, I just wanted to know if we have any known donors that have lined up or have offered to give services.
At the moment, I'm not aware of any services other than Elmer Express as far as media design production services.
I think
So far, I'm not aware. I don't think.
Today would be Emma Express and Keith Hunt, right?
Right, yes, because there's you're right. There's a component, there's a capital component to the Keith Hunt donation as well as labor. You're correct. So in this case, it's a combination. Right? And the same with Elmer Express. You could argue there's the design services as well as the actual physical printing. They delivered a product. So that too is a combination of services and donation. Yeah. And I'm trying to think on our list of items, maybe Tanya or what are there other services that could be needed for the campaign? I'm thinking, like, is it like maintenance, like courtyard maintenance or flower beds or landscaping? So that's
Landscaping.
landscaping. Okay. So I could see that's one area of services we could benefit from. I don't think there's anything else, at least that comes to mind. And that's not to say there are not other services we might need during the campaign, whether it's advising, grant application, any kind of sort of services that are not directly for the residents, but in support of the campaign, similar to Elmer Express, for example. So any other design services or advertising, promotional. So always open to everything. Okay, so website update, just we're continuing to update as we get feedback and as we get new information. So like we said at the end of the spring campaign, we made sure that we listed a bunch of items as sold. So, the progress is visible. So Catherine is doing a great job of that. And so while I think about it, I will mention that on our shared spreadsheet, and we'll look at it more closely during the closed session, we've added a section where you can see, so we want to be very transparent. You can see the entire catalog in an Excel spreadsheet, and we are marking items, like color coding items that are sold. So Catherine is using that to update the website. And this is where we're tracking where something is sold because it was assigned or sold because we assigned it. So that's where all that information is, and we can keep track and stay as organized as possible. You may have noticed Catherine also added a feature where the list of donors is rotating automatically. So that stays fresh. So as we get more donors, we continue to add to the list. So we'll continue to just kind of scroll automatically. And if you see any errors, I know Ruth Ann caught one. So thank you for letting us know. So any errors or omissions, let us know for sure. And anything else on the website? Any questions or anything else, Catherine, that I'm not thinking of?
No, we just updated the progress heart a bit, and we may be able to update it a bit more after our more recent donations.
Right. And we can talk about it too when we get to the next item, number 7, when we talk about annual targets. Maybe that will affect that as well. Okay, great. Okay, so if there are no questions or suggestions on the website, the poster. So I think it was at our last meeting that there was a suggestion that when things open up, it would be nice to have a poster for the campaign so that we can put it in stores, we can put it in, at your church or any kind of public space now that we can go out a little bit. So Catherine did a first draft. And so I'm just, I noticed the font, because it's a specialized font that most of us don't have access to. So Michelle at Elmer Express is just going to tweak so it is the exact same font, and it looks exactly the same as our other print materials, and they weren't going to charge for that, just a little tweak. While we're doing that, I wanted to ask you your suggestion for what contact information would you like to put on the poster? There's not enough room to put all of the committee members, and I don't know that it would look good on the poster. So do you want to put one person, one committee members? Do we put Ruth Ann's name on the poster, or do we put just a generic email, email or call? What are your thoughts on that? What should we do?
So if we put Elgin County, then it would mean that someone in a paid position would have to take care of it. So we would have to pay them. So it needs to be connected to the volunteers. Is that right?
I think so. I mean, right now, I think the donate to Terrace Lodge, what is it? Donate to TL@elgin.ca comes to me. So it's generic, and it will come to a committee member. So I'm willing to put that.
Or the other one would be if we put to refer to our webpage, which has the information there.
Right. And we could put both. We could put the website and email address.
Yes.
So there's definitely room for that.
What about a phone number as well, just for those that, aren't maybe on the computer or?
Ruth Ann, do you have any thoughts? I'm picking on you just because I think you had suggested the poster idea, which I think is a great idea. When you were imagining the poster, were you also thinking of a contact name?
I was just thinking that maybe a couple or 3 names put onto it with the phone numbers, and then they could contact that person. It's not all left onto one.
Okay.
I mean, you could put 2 or 3 names onto it, and if they couldn't reach one, they could reach another.
Yeah. We have volunteers. I'm game to put my name and number, but I love the idea of a couple. But that means another volunteer.
I would take and do it for you.
Okay, thank you, Ruth Ann. Anyone else?
My problem is that I will be starting back to work and I'll be working 12-hour days, 7 days a week for a while. So if the phone calls start coming in, I don't know if I can get back to them in a timely manner. So for now, I will pass on that.
very happy that you're back to work. It's about time. But so that's a very, very good reason. Well, we can do a first batch with 2 names and see what that looks like. So I'll put Ruth Ann's and my name, if that's okay with everybody. And then we'll circulate that. We'll have to see, speaking of services, I don't think the printing of those was in, you know, the donation from Aylmer Express. So if you know of any other printers in the area, in the
There's one
county.
in Stratfordville.
Okay,
I can't think of what it's called though. It's just a small company, so we might be able to draw from them. Does anybody know what it's called?
I know it.
Is
I have,
that
yeah, I
sports
don't remember
wood?
the name.
What is it? That
Sorry, Richard, we were both talking at the same time. You go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say I have been there a couple of times, but I just can't recall the name.
I think it's sportswood printing. Does that ring a bell?
it does sound familiar, but
how about, Catherine, do you want to contact them, or I'm happy to contact them, or Jamie, or any volunteers to,
I just gotta find, yeah.
how many posters should we start with?
100.
100? Everybody in agreement? So let's see, and I'm thinking, I think the way you designed it, it's sort of, Catherine, it's sort of, just like a, yeah, it's not a giant poster, sort of kind of flyer that would fit in that community.
Like a
bulletin
legal
board.
size.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because I can tell you as a business owner, if it's too big, it's not gonna go up.
No.
So 8.5 by 11, or what's the next size up, but no bigger than that.
Okay,
I made it 8.5 by 11.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Jim?
Yes, just one thing is, if the business in Stratfordville you're talking about isn't going to donate the posters, then I have a bit of an issue in not getting the Aylmer Express to make them, since they've already made those donations to our program already. It just wouldn't seem fair. That's my concern.
yeah. I think our goal should be to find somebody there. I think there are a number of companies around. 100 posters is not too onerous. So I think let's make it a goal to find someone who will do it. And I agree that if there's absolutely no one, if we're going to give the business, probably put it as part of the Aylmer Express package, that seems fair. Okay,
If we
so
were to,
go ahead, Jamie.
go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, sorry, it was Ruth Ann. Go ahead, Ruth Ann.
I was going to say is we could check the business in Stratfordville, see what they would charge us, or if they would do it for a donation. And if it was going to charge us, then let's see how much it would be and see what Aylmer Express would charge us to do it.
Exactly. Okay, that's a good idea. Excellent. So we'll probably, I'll keep you posted by email to see what, if we have any success, or if we need to contact any number of other businesses. But, and then as soon as we have them, we'll make sure that we each get a few copies, so you can put them in your own areas, the places that you go. And we'll make sure that we have them as many places as possible to start with. So, excellent. Elgin Life, I think, is a publication somebody mentioned at our last meeting. That was a possibility. I think, Catherine, you looked into that. Is that correct?
Sorry, I'm appearing twice again. I hit the wrong button. I did look into Elgin Life. I actually kind of along the way looked into the North Shore Beacon, and So I do actually have some information about Elgin Life. They are definitely interested in editorial. So they said that they would be happy to receive any type of newsworthy information from us in press releases and that sort of thing. They do also have advertising. They did tell me that they have a special rate for not-for-profit. So they sent me their rate card, but explained to me that that's not actually the rate card that they would charge the county and not the rates that they would charge a campaign. So it's really based on if we were going to advertise with them, what size of ad we wanted to pick. And then based on that, they would make an arrangement based on our charity that we're a campaign raising money. So I don't actually have specific figures in terms of what they would charge us, but they do book ads, but they also are very happy to receive any type of press release or editorial content from us as long as it's newsworthy, which I think a lot of our items are newsworthy. So I have a contact for them as well. So any type of press release or news event that we are going to have, we should make sure to include them on that information as well.
Excellent. Thank you for looking into that. So I think that will tie into number 8 as far as a donor event, perhaps. So if we have an event and we write a media release out of that, we'd make sure that they be included. They could even be invited if the numbers allow, to be invited as media to the event so they could cover it. Okay, and any questions on that? And yes, Catherine's little research into Elgin Life did lead to North Shore Beacon. And so the editor contacted us and interviewed me. So we spent a fair amount of time. So like he wanted to learn everything, like a good journalist wanted to learn everything about the campaign. Also requested to speak with, and now her name escapes me, but the president of Resident Council. So I believe a Zoom call was organized. Is that right, Michelle or Tanya?
Yes, there was a meeting, and I can't remember the date, but it was that Friday that we talked about. So she was very excited to do that.
Yeah, so he interviewed her and got a photograph. So I don't know what I told him there wasn't a specific date in terms of publication because it's a long-term campaign. So I don't think it's been published yet, but that's coming. So that's excellent. So that was, again, thanks to Catherine's research. Jamie?
The CTV London is doing a big campaign on Elmer. So the first half of it, well, I think it starts in June and ends July, is for businesses that are opening. It's to promote Elmer again after all of the bad publicity we've had recently. And then there's another segment that runs from July into mid-August that is about coming to Elmer as a beautiful place to come. I wonder if we approach CTV, if there would be some way that they would donate and incorporate something from us in that. And the other one is My FM is doing a similar thing. I don't remember the dates for it, but I can find them for you. So My FM is asking for businesses to do ad campaigns as well, but with the same purpose, is focusing on bringing traffic back to Elmer. Why not try to see if we can get them to donate a little bit of time for us at the same time? But I'm not good at wording things for that. So that one, I can give you the idea, but to get them to persuade them to let us do that. But I think it'd be a great opportunity to tag on to what they're already doing.
Asking is always the key. You don't know if you don't ask. So do you have contact information on sort of is there somebody who's kind of coordinating and leading that?
Well, Nicole Wabinga would be from the BIA and the chamber. And I'm sure if we contact her, she'll give us the contact name.
Okay, great. I say we follow up and ask.
Yep.
I'll work with you, Catherine, if you want to get the contact, and I can reach out.
I can contact Nicole.
Okay, great. Thank you. Excellent.
Dominic,
Yes. Richard.
just thinking about that, I was thinking about our community here having lots of people with a German background. And I don't know how many of them ever even have had relatives in a Terrace Lodge.
A lot.
A lot?
A
Already?
lot. Yeah, a large 49% of our population is of German Mennonite background. When you go into the homes, there are many Mennonite backgrounds.
Already?
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about how about using the German radio station to
Ooh, good idea. And they're always looking for content. So, and
correct.
if we could get someone to translate into German for us, that would be
Mhm.
even better.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Because I was just thinking, I meet so many German people that some of them have been in Elma for so many years and their English is very, very limited. So if we can cater for that group of people so that we almost don't pass them by putting out some advert or some communication in German, it will really show how inclusive this whole drive is. And also, you may never know how many would want to be a part of this and contribute.
I can contact Abe Harms and see, because he's the head of the MCS. And we'll see how much support we can get from them because they can translate for us. And they're the ones who control the radio station.
Jimmy, I think Abrahams retired about a month ago. I don't know if I guess he'll still have contact with the new management there.
I have a friend who works in that office. I'll find out who the new person is.
Okay.
But there was no announcement of his retiring, so. Okay, I'll see what I can find.
All right.
Okay, excellent idea. I'm glad you brought that up because, yeah, so let's reach out to the radio station for sure and see if we could do an ad, basically, promotion. And what about the poster? What if we had that translated?
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, so we could do both the poster and something on the radio, which would basically have the same information. I'm not sure to what extent the radio station would translate the poster. Do you have any other links or suggestion resources in the community we could go to for translation?
The MCS will do the translation.
Okay, so even with the poster, if we give them the draft.
Yep, they'll probably be more than happy to do that. And if not, I'll find someone who will.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, we'll put that as an action item. So between now and the next meeting, is that fair?
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Richard. So I don't think we need any specific motions for this, for item number 6. So that's okay. We'll move to number 7. So number 7 is just wanting to check in with all of you to see what we want to do. Our initial idea was to have, for the 3 years, is to have a bigger target the first year, and then smaller the second, and then smaller the third year. Sort of made sense that, you know, in the first year we would have our most significant impact, and then we'd reach out and expand. Now, the first year is not looking exactly like we hoped either because of our inability to do as much outreach. So just in terms of, like, in the end, I guess it doesn't, to me, doesn't really matter because the goal, the ultimate goal is the 650 and, you know, by the end of 3 years. But as you know, we're showing sort of progress updates on the website and on our large sign outside of Terrace Lodge. So whatever we decide is going to impact our progress update. So like what percentage, if we're at 70,000, is it 70,000 out of 250 or is it 70,000 out of 350,000? So I'm just curious. I'm a little ambivalent. I don't know at the end if it really matters. I'm really interested in your thoughts. Because one option could just be take 650 divided by 3, and that's the target each year. And as simple as that.
And we could do that. And then if we surpass our target for the first year, we can start in the second year and it looks like we're progressing.
I like that. Other thoughts? So, so 650 divided by 3 is not exactly a, a round number, but what, any suggestions on what we would make year 1 then? Pulling up my calculator, so it's 216.66 is a 650 divided by 3. So do we want to make 225 for year 1?
225, sure.
How does that sound?
You know what? I'm just thinking that year 1, I like to keep positive and faith, but year 1, even if we didn't hit that mark, I mean, knowing all the difficulties that we've had with this drive, with COVID being around, I guess we should not be discouraged if we don't hit that mark, right? It is just a milestone, right?
Yes.
Given all the difficult circumstances that we've had to work around.
Absolutely, and I think the 650 ultimately is still achievable. It's a great goal, and I'm confident we will get there. I think it's more of a, to me, it's more of a communication. I think year 1, the first 6 months between COVID, we're learning a lot. I certainly am learning a lot in terms of even different foundations and grants that are available, and so perhaps the initial idea of having a larger amount in the first year, you know, that was a little bit arbitrary anyway. So perhaps it's just more logical to divide it to 3-year campaign. So we divide by 3 years. And just in terms of progress, I think it might be easier to report as well. So I'm, yeah, not discouraged at all, at all. So what do you think? To make it 225 and sort of around that, we can make it 225 every year, shoot for 275.
Yeah.
Or 675.
675, yeah.
Okay. So if everybody's okay with that, then I like I said, it does have an impact because it will change the percentage that we report on year 1. And if we want to do the, you know, the red sticker on our sign, it will also change that percentage. We say 70,000 out of 225. So, yeah, well, let's do that. I think that will be a nice boost for everybody. Okay. Photo and donor events. So we have a number of donors who have requested, and even without their request, certainly we would like to give the opportunity to have a photo and you know, present a check. So we've been sort of accumulating a list because we couldn't gather at all. So I think we might have half a dozen of significant donations and donors who for whom we'd like to offer that recognition. So now that things have opened up a little bit, there is an opportunity to organize this event. So I wanted to check with you. I think what we envisioned, we would go back to the sign, probably because of limitations in numbers, have a bit of a schedule. So different donors would come at a, you know, in 10 minutes interval. So, and then we can take a photo with them, with committee members who are available, and leave it as simple as that, but very important. So thoughts on timing? And our limited, we're still at 10 maximum, right? Outdoors? So we have a couple options. We could wait until maybe the next stage. So maybe wait a couple more weeks, at which point then we have a bigger number, so we could have all committee members plus donors. I think we still have a schedule. Or we could do it, because it's been a long time coming, we could do it sooner. What are your thoughts?
If you do it after July 2nd, I won't be able to come. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I'm just letting you know that I won't be able to. Well, maybe in August, but not in July.
Right, because you're going to be working 20.
I'm going to be working.
Other thoughts, Catherine, logistically, what is the earliest you think we can reach people? Can we organize something for next week?
We can pull things together pretty quickly. It won't be until next Friday, the 2nd. I believe that's when we're going into step 2. I don't know how many, is anyone else aware of how many we might be able to have? I know that under previous frameworks, there was like 5, and then there was 10, and then there was 25.
Yeah, I'm sure it's 25. For
Because I
outdoor.
think it would be a lot easier for us, and we'd have to exclude fewer people if we were able to have it once we got into stage 2. So we could try to organize it for the 2nd, for the very day we go in, but because Canada Day is on the 1st, I wonder if there'll be people who are taking long weekends and people might be less available. So I wonder if instead of next week, we aim for very early the week after that.
Maybe on the Monday, on the 5th, potentially, which then does have an impact for Jamie.
That's okay. I'm fine with that.
There was one, if there's one donor, Jamie, that you wanted to have a photo with, I can't remember, I thought there was someone on the list that maybe you wanted to recognize. We can always come to you also. If we can, with Catherine, we can
Yeah.
do a
The-
photo with you.
I don't know if there's anyone that has requested it. I know one of them was there when we had our initial sign reveal, but he doesn't like to be in the public eye. So, and then my mom would say no.
We'll follow up with you, so that way there's that.
I should want to do it. Yeah, so I don't have anyone that stands out in my mind that.
My thought was, should the focus be on the people that are making the donation rather than getting a group shot together of the committee members?
For sure.
Just
Yeah.
a thought.
The only thing with that is if there's a group shot of the committee members, there might be someone looking at that photo and say, oh, I didn't know they were part of that. I can contact them. And so sometimes seeing it on paper is not the same as visual recognition. So there's that side of it.
That's true.
It's not that it's significantly important, but for some people they'll say, oh, Pete's on that committee. I can talk to Pete. Oh, look, Ruth Ann's on that committee. So it's, yeah. Sometimes when it's just a picture that they don't recognize anyone in, they just kind of flip past it.
I certainly would like, I would like both. I think for me, it's, we don't have a group photo yet. We haven't had a chance between the weather and And in COVID, we haven't had a chance to take a group photo with in front of the sign. So part of the event would be also the sort of the reveal of the progress, celebration, and then individual photos with 1 or 2 committee members with the donor. So where we can really, really feature the donor. I totally agree. So, you know me, I want it all. I want both. So let's look at logistics then. Jim, did you want to comment?
Well, I'm gonna say, if I can't get a haircut by then, they'll think I'm a resident, so.
By the second, you can come. We'll make sure.
Well, I got a hairdresser down the road. The amazing thing, just to offset for a second, you can take your dog to a groomer, but you can't get your hair cut, so. Anyway, just having some fun here.
Okay, well, yeah, and I'm thinking, I think to your point, that Catherine, yeah, the second, it just might be that our donors are not available. It might be an extended long weekend for many people. So maybe we look at the following week. So, and we might have to, so we can agree on a date, but that at some point we also have to check with our donors to see if they are available. So I guess for now, so we'll work on the logistics and sort of canvas everybody on the list, and communicate with the committee as to what dates are shaping up as available dates. But I think for now, the consensus is that we're all in support of an event. So we'll go ahead and organize that. I look forward to that. Finally, we can get together. Probably don't need a motion for that either. I think just general agreement. All right. Quick updates then. A couple of things that had come up at previous meetings. So the next item is fundraising strategies that we had looked at. So the virtual 50-50. So we've done a bit of research. I went back to our consultants. Catherine has been exchanged information with one of the providers, I guess. So it's not as simple as it seems. So there's quite a process just as far as the license. But then what we learned, and Catherine, I'll let you take over from here, but there's like you need to hire a service essentially to run it for you. And then that gets pricey very quickly. Did you want to comment further?
Sure. From what I found, I did reach out to the one that's being used pretty frequently by public sector hospitals. It's being used by the hospital in St. Thomas. It turns out that I don't think that our campaign goals are enough for them. They really want to know how much you usually raise, but of course that's difficult because this is a one-time new campaign in its first year of operation during a pandemic. So it's very difficult for us to really nail down how much we can predict that we're going to raise this year and guarantee it, because I believe they take a percentage of what you raise through the campaign. So they like to look at past experience, but also the entire amount of your campaign. So if we had, you know, a $5 million campaign, we would be more attractive to these services than our campaign with what the limit is now. So we may not be big enough for some. There may be others. I know that you had mentioned you were speaking to the consultant, and there may be other organizations that run these online 50-50s that may accept a smaller campaign amount. But based on the research that I've done, our amount is not big enough.
What about just a GoFundMe page? Is that possible? I don't know what the requirements are for that, but I mean, it's just a different visual than for people that are very tech savvy. They seem to be attracted to that kind of thing.
I mean, I don't mind looking into that. Like I would hesitate, and probably what the consultants would tell us is be careful not to divide. If you provide too many channels. So ultimately a website is a website. So in my understanding, from previous, when I looked at all the fees, I think the GoFundMe is quite high in terms of the cut that they take. And it's the same with the 50-50. So it turns out like all of these are run by corporations and
Right.
they make their money by taking a percentage. And GoFundMe, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the 10 to 20%. It's the same thing, I think at a previous meeting, I don't know if I had a chance to follow up on that. There was a suggestion to connect with funeral homes. So you may have noticed, and perhaps you've donated that way. And so I ended up doing research. So if you go on an online obituary, there's an option to donate. And then when you click, then there are a number of, organizations and charities. So there is actually a company running that system. It's not the funeral home who runs that donation system. So they feed that information. So if you had indicated that you would appreciate, the family indicated you'd appreciate a donation to the Cancer Society or such and such. So that's actually run by a third party. And so I looked into the fees and I certainly, this is my personal opinion, but then decided I was not even personally going to use that site because of a large, up to 20% that is used as an administration. So that was only one organization, a corporation who runs that, but just so, people who run, it's a service. So they need to make money too. And so there is quite a fee involved. So I know that we've committed to keeping our fees, our expenses in the 3 to 4%. And some of these corporations don't fit that bill. So learning a lot, learning a lot. And being careful of how we donate money as individual. I think that's good information to know where exactly the money goes. So I think that one we might park for now. So hopefully we're coming out of slowly but surely out of COVID and maybe the virtual lottery, if it's not a good fit for our type of campaign, because they're very interested in some of the questions they were asking, like how many on your list of on your contact list, like they're interested in getting your contact list. They're interested in, and so I'm like, maybe it's a great corporation. It does great work, but maybe not a good fit for our campaign and the scale where we're working. On the grant side though, so we're continuing to explore grants and I think we're making really good progress on that. So there are a number of grants that come up, provincial and federal grants. And so every time I subscribe to a few alerts, and every time I see one, I direct it to our staff at the county and say, can you double check the eligibility and could we get some assistance? So far there's one that has come up very recently, and I think the deadline just later in August. But it's to promote physical activity in seniors. And so staff has looked at it and we are a good fit. So if you recall on our wish list, there's equipment, I think there's outdoor equipment and indoor equipment and like physical exercise equipment. And the maximum that we can get is $25,000. And on our wish list, in our spreadsheet, when I do the math of a couple of those items, and Tanya, you feel free to comment on that. It's easily $25,000, if not. So staff have agreed to proceed with an application. So I wanted to check with all of you that everybody's okay with that. And Tanya, did you want to add anything? Or Michelle?
So today we're I'm going to connect with finance and Lisa, and so we're going to, review the application and start the process of that. So that's kind of where we are at right now. I'm sorry, I'm in an office with other people that have come in, so I find a spot where I can today, so I apologize. But yeah, so that's where we're at, and it's quite exciting. So we'll look at that, and that's a great prospect for getting some really high quality outdoor exercise equipment.
Excellent. Excellent. So we will pursue that, and I'm assuming, so let's say we got the grant and the actual items perhaps exceeded $25,000. I think it's fair that we could take from the general donation needed to top up a little bit to buy exactly what we need. Am I correct in assuming that the committee would be in favor of just topping up and making sure we make the most of the grant and then assign a little bit of money to complete it? Excellent. So we'll pursue those. It's the same with the Elmer Foundation and the St. Thomas Foundation. So Elmer Foundation does have a grant. I think that they maybe 4 times a year or 3 times a year. There's one coming up by September. And so I'll work on that and work with staff to put an application in. And I think part of their criteria is that it should be an imminent need. So not like, I don't think they would sponsor something this year that would be needed 3 years from now. So I'm working with Tanya to look at a wish list of which items could be used right now. Like some of the large TV screens, for example, like sort of media, like the speakers, and those could be used right away. This is something that's needed now. We don't have to wait till the end of the redevelopment. So we're going to work on that and again, go for the maximum donation, which I think is about $10,000.
Yes.
So, all right. So we'll keep an eye on those grants. If anything crosses your desk, don't hesitate, even if you're not sure if it's relevant. I certainly am not shy. Every time I see something, I send it to Michelle and Tanya and say, what about this? What about this? So we'll put it all together with as many sources as possible. Okay, I think that's all I had before we go into closed sessions to speak of a specific donor outreach update. Was there any other business you wanted to do an open session that's not concerning any specific donors? We're good. So with that, then I'll consider a motion to move into closed session. Jim? Ruth Ann?
I'm just going to find another location because I am in a shared office. So if I disappear for a minute and then I reappear, that's why. Okay. Okay.
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Richard Kasul,
Yes.
Councillor Jaguar.
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Pete and Jamie.
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Richard Kasul, Councillor Jaguar.
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Okay, and I think there are no resolutions to move from a closed session. So if there are no other new business, our next meeting is, we're looking at, is it July 19th, possibly?
And I will not be available.
Understandably.
Unless you, yeah, I was gonna say unless the evening, but
Well, we'll find a way to make sure we're connected with you. We are aware this is going to be a busy time in the next few weeks for you. So we'll make sure whatever information you need, and between the minutes and the spreadsheet that we're sharing, keep you in the loop for sure, and vice versa. You let us know anything you need. Everybody else, okay for July 19th, 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Let's go find a few barbecues between now and then.
Yes.
And so thank you for your time and all of your work. So we have a nice list of actionable items we can follow up on between the posters and reaching out to our German community. We've got lots on the go, and I love how everything is moving along. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Keep it up and stay safe. And hopefully July 19th, we might be in the same room.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Richard, Ruth Ann? And thank you, Tanya and Michelle, for making time for us as well. And for always being available when we have crazy ideas.
Oh, we appreciate all the great work this committee's doing for sure. It's just amazing to see things starting to happen. So thank you to everyone.
Excellent.
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Richard Kasul,
Yes.
Councillor Jiguer.
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a great day.